Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, we bring you a story full of surprises and hidden angles that few people know about. Don't leave just yet. Just when you think you've figured it all out, there are fascinating and meaningful details waiting for you at the end of the video. Let's explore together and uncover the special message this video has for you. Are you ready? Let's get started. Against a backdrop of resonant chants, King Ketshwayo steps forward. Before him stand 20,000 warriors adorned with ostrich feathers and jaguar pelts, wielding shields and iron-tipped spears. The king's voice carries over the assembly. I have not crossed the seas to seek out the white men, yet they have come into my land. I fear they will not stop until they take our wives, cattle, crops, and even our land itself. They wish to take me. What shall I do? The clans of the Zulu kingdom answer with resounding cries of loyalty. They have not left their peaceful homesteads simply for the solemnity of sacred ceremonies. This is no mere ritual. This is war. Across their borders, red-clad columns of British troops, some 5,000 strong, march under the command of the 2nd Baron Chelmsford. In their service are also African auxiliaries. Lord Chelmsford's forces have already set fire to Zulu settlements, razing the royal homestead of a high-ranking chief and advancing further into Zululand. The British claim their invasion is justified, but even by the Empire's standards, their reasons are flimsy. After brutally seizing diamond-rich lands from Africans and Boer settlers, the British now confront the mighty Zulu kingdom. Here, every able-bodied man can be called to war, trained since boyhood in the art of combat. Despite King Ketshwayo's earnest attempts to maintain peace, Sir Henry Bartle Frere, the High Commissioner for Southern Africa, has fabricated a series of border skirmishes to justify war. While Frere faces criticism from his superiors for his apparent warmongering, the invasion presents an opportunity to cement British dominance, win personal glory, and dismantle the largest indigenous power in the region. Eager to fulfill Frere's ambitions, Chelmsford declares, "The Zulus must be utterly crushed to understand our superiority. I will show them how hopelessly inferior they are to us in warfare." As Chelmsford's forces advance, the Zulu army marches through valleys and golden hills, once home to independent clans. In the early 19th century, it was the great King Shaka who united these clans into the Zulu kingdom. Through innovation and discipline, Shaka equipped his warriors with iron-tipped spears and perfected the horns of the bull tactic, encircling and annihilating enemies. According to Zulu tradition, the land was greatly disturbed by refugees, but some stayed, bowing their heads low, unable to leave their homes. Those without courage fled. Shaka's kingdom became a powerful alliance of clans bound by loyalty to their divine king, sending warriors to fight for him whenever called. In this enchanted land, ancestral spirits are revered through rituals demanding courage and discipline. Before battle, the slaying of a bull with bare hands purifies the warriors and summons the spirit's favor. On the morning of January 22nd, 1879, the British camp stirs. Scouts report a few hundred Zulus in the distance, possibly the vanguard of a larger force. Chelmsford, neglecting to fortify his camp, departs with half his troops to pursue them. Unbeknownst to him, a staggering force of 25,000 Zulu warriors waits in the valleys beyond. North of the British camp, another scouting party encounters Zulu warriors herding cattle. They give chase, only to crest a hill and behold the awe-inspiring sight of the Zulu army stretching across the valley below. As chants fill the air, the warriors move with precision, guided by Ketshwayo's brilliant general, Chingwayo. With Chelmsford's main force absent, fewer than 2,000 British troops remain at Isinwana. From the hills, the Zulu tide descends, their war cries and the rattle of spears on shields echoing through the plains. The British fire volleys, momentarily stalling the Zulu advance and cutting down scores of warriors. But the Zulus are undeterred. Employing the horns of the bull tactic, they flank the thin British firing lines. With shields raised, they hurl spears and fire outdated muskets, then charge with relentless ferocity. Over heaps of their fallen comrades, They surge forward, driving hand spears into British chests and breaking through the lines. The battle for the soul of Zululand has begun. As the British retreat to their camp, chaos ensues. Soldiers scramble for ammunition, but the Zulus, relentless and unyielding, exploit the gaps in their lines, encircling and overwhelming the firing squads from all directions. The sky darkens under a solar eclipse, casting an ominous shadow over the battlefield. Stragglers form desperate squares, thrusting bayonets wildly. Zulu warriors crash through the formations, battering soldiers with shields and driving spears through their bodies. Amid the chaos, an officer, Charles Pope, raises his revolver and fires at a Zulu commander. The first shot grazes his neck, the second strikes his leg. Undeterred, the Zulu hurls his spear, hitting Pope in the chest. Staggering into the grass, Pope struggles to pull the spear out, but the Zulu forces it back in, ending his life. British soldiers fleeing toward the river are pursued relentlessly, their captors showing no mercy. The Zulus take no prisoners, and when the battle subsides, 1,300 British soldiers lie dead. Victorious, the Zulus perform rituals over the fallen. They strip and disembowel the corpses, believing it necessary to release the spirits of the dead officers, infantry, and drummer boys, lest they be haunted by trapped souls. As night falls, a thick fog blankets the blood-soaked hills. Lord Chelmsford returns to Isanlawina with his troops, only to face the grim aftermath of his hubris. The cunning Zulu offensive has laid bare his arrogance, leaving the grass drenched with the entrails of his men. A captain later recalled stumbling over the naked, gashed, and ghastly bodies of our late comrades. Despite isolated acts of resistance such as the valiant defense at Rorke's Drift, the Zulus remain strong and determined. Their victories continue, ambushing a British caravan at the Entum River and annihilating another force at Lobane. Pursuing their enemies, they advance on the British camp at Cambula. There, the British fortify their position and unleash a devastating barrage of gunfire, inflicting heavy losses. Fewer than 30 British casualties compared to up to 2,000 Zulu dead. The war, ignited by Sir Henry Bartle Frere's reckless ambitions, now fuels public outrage in Britain. Gruesome tales of Isanlawina's massacre reach the empire, spurring calls for retribution. By late May, a second invasion force, 25,000 strong, marches into Zululand. Yet King Ketshwayo, steadfast in his plea for peace, continues to seek diplomacy. His requests are met with unwavering demands: the dismantling of the Zulu military and the imposition of British colonial rule, terms tantamount to the dissolution of the Zulu kingdom and the loss of their autonomy. Chelmsford, disgraced by his failure at Isanlawina, learns he is to be replaced by Sir Garnet Wolseley within weeks. Desperate to salvage his reputation, he disregards orders and leads a ruthless campaign of scorched earth. Villages are burned, inhabitants displaced, and cattle, the lifeblood of Zulu society, are confiscated. For the Zulus, cattle symbolize wealth, sustenance, and social order, underpinning marriage and family life. Women, who manage agriculture and child-rearing, see their livelihoods destroyed. Now Chelmsford's troops approach their ultimate target, Ondini, also known as Ulundi, the capital of the Zulu kingdom and the heart of Ketshwayo's rule. As the sprawling homestead comes into view, Chelmsford rallies his 5,000 men. Cavalry units fan out along the flanks, while the infantry forms an imposing square, bracing for what is to come. Over 10,000 Zulu warriors emerge from the swaying grass for a final, defiant stand. The horns of the bull format, thick columns of smoke rise as hissing flames engulf the valley. The royal capital is overtaken, and exhausted Zulu chiefs surrender as British forces burn their land in a relentless hunt for King Ketshwayo. They finally capture him in the dense Ngome forests and imprison him in Cape Town. When confronted by his captors, Ketshwayo declares with unshaken pride, "I was king of the Zulus, had my country invaded by the Queen's troops, tried to defend it, but was defeated, taken captive, and brought here by the Queen's orders." Here I will remain until she restores me to Zululand. Ketshwayo's life was one defined by struggle and power. From the very beginning, his path to the throne was paved with blood and turmoil. He rose to kingship by defeating his rival brother in a brutal power struggle, one that left an indelible mark on the Zulu kingdom. Entire clans were annihilated, their men slain, their women and children obliterated, all to secure his place as the undisputed ruler of a unified Zulu nation. Yet, despite the violent means by which he ascended, Ketshwayo's reign became a symbol of resilience and defiance. Under his leadership, the Zulu kingdom stood as a shining bastion of African strength and unity in an era increasingly dominated by colonial encroachment. It was a time when few indigenous nations could hope to resist the relentless advance of European empires. But the Zulu people, under Ketshwayo, defied the odds and left an enduring legacy of resistance. After years of imprisonment in the distant Cape, Ketshwayo was finally allowed to return to Ulundi in 1883. But what awaited him was not the kingdom he once ruled with unwavering authority. Zululand had been irreparably fractured, its once cohesive structure splintered by the strategic manipulations of the British. What was once a formidable nation was now divided into contentious, warring districts, each led by rival chiefs vying for power. The kingdom that had stood as a unified force against colonial oppression now teetered on the brink of collapse. Ketshwayo's return was met with hostility. Emboldened by the disarray sown by the British, rival factions sought to eliminate him. Among these challengers was a chief who, with the aid of Boer mercenaries, launched a calculated assault on Ketshwayo's new homestead. The battle was devastating. General Nchingwayo, one of Ketshwayo's most loyal and capable allies, fell in combat, a loss that reverberated through the Zulu ranks. Ketshwayo himself was gravely wounded and forced to flee into the forests, bleeding and broken, but still clinging to the dignity of his station. His final days were spent in exile, a shadow of the king he once was. Nearing 60, Ketshwayo succumbed to his injuries, or as some suggest, to poison, a fate shrouded in mystery. His death marked the end of an era. With his passing, the British wasted no time in annexing Zululand, dismantling its independence, and forcing the surviving clans into a colonial system designed to suppress their identity and autonomy. The Zulu people, once united under a single king, were now fragmented, subjected to the harsh realities of colonial rule that would shape the future of South Africa. Yet, even in the face of such relentless oppression, the spirit of the Zulu people endured. Their traditions, language, and cultural heritage remained unbroken. They continued to speak the ancient tongue, to sing and dance in celebration of their royal lineage, and to pass down the stories of a kingdom that, even in its darkest hour, stood fiercely against one of the most powerful empires in history. For a fleeting but extraordinary moment, the Zulu kingdom had defied the British Empire, leaving behind a legacy of courage, resilience, and an unwavering determination to protect their identity against all odds. It is a legacy that continues to inspire, a testament to the enduring strength of a people whose voices could not be silenced by the tides of history. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. If you found this story interesting and meaningful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any exciting content coming up. Leave a comment to share your thoughts. We're eager to hear from you. See you in the upcoming videos with more unique and meaningful stories. Stay with us.